And speaking of moving ahead, we have reached the end of 2023 and we look forward to the year ahead. There are sure to be some big digital marketing stories that will emerge next year. How will AI continue to completely change the marketing landscape? Will Elon drive Twitter into the ground? Will Mark Zuckerberg show real human emotion from his bunker in Australia, which apparently he's building right now? Each of you, give me one bold prediction looking ahead into 2024 from a marketing standpoint. Iain, start with you.
Okay, my bold prediction. I want to give two bold predictions, although you only asked for one. My
Wow.
first is that text to video, I think, will really start to pick up in 2024. Obviously, in 2023, we saw text to images through tools like DALL-E and Midjourney and things like that. The pace at which they improved was incredible. And we're starting to see the first drips of text to video. So I think that's really going to take off next year. The other prediction I would make is I feel like probably Meta, but someone is going to come up with an option for ads whereby AI is used to create your ad. You just drop in your landing page and then they just make the entire ad for you. You just type in a landing page, a budget, and then it does the rest. And I think we may see something along those lines next year too.
I mean, it already pretty much exists where it gives you recommendations that you can go and edit. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that's too far away. How good it optimizes though is the big problem.
Indeed.
And again, that goes back to the kind of the idea of AI being something that helps us as opposed to replaces us, because there's still going to be that human aspect where you need to look through things and say yes or no, this makes sense for human beings. It might make sense from an algorithm standpoint, but for actual eyeballs, we need to rethink this. So I think there'll always be a place. And Iain, to your point too about the text to video, I was experimenting with a tool just the other day in regards to text to video, and it's pretty powerful. It's pretty interesting too. There's a lot of things that you could do with it. But again, yeah, I think that's something that could definitely continue in 2024 and really come more to the masses. Right now, there are some tools that are out there. You can use them, but I think they'll get integrated into tools that a lot more people use on a daily basis. Indeed. Duncan, look ahead. Look into your crystal ball. I should note too, Duncan, right before we started, we were trying to get in the Christmas spirit and you put those two stockings up behind you. So well done.
Well, I mean, I wanted to make it a little more festive. Couldn't find my Santa hat, unfortunately, and I can't compete with what you're wearing. I don't think anybody really can. I think the camera's even struggling to capture all those colors behind you. So.
Well, when you combine the sticker wall with this, that's a lot. Yeah. Duncan, what do you think?
Intentional, but it's giving you like these little white puffs right by your armpits, and I think it's
Well, just on the one side, that's actually part of Santa's beard.
Yeah, it's just that arm that I'm seeing it on.
Yeah. When you see the shirt on Friday, Duncan, you'll fully understand.
I'll be blinded.
Whole scope of it.
I'll be blinded
by festive spirit.
Well, I mean, bold prediction. I think I could very much see this happening. I mean, with everything that's going on with inflation and everyone's complaining about, grocery stores arbitrarily jacking up prices on things. I could see a very similar thing happening in the ad space because it is a bit of a black box in the sense that whatever the base level is for a click that Google's given you, they're obviously making some money on that. That's the whole point of it. And, it's always been told to us that it's an auction base. So, you have one person bidding this, another person bidding that. And if you're above them for whatever reason, you do better. But obviously, there's always a base cost of what an ad provider like Meta or Google is taking for the ads. Now, I'm also very curious if inflation's affected ad costs. And then by that same token, has Google and Meta and all these platforms increased that? Beyond what maybe inflation would do. So who knows? Maybe there's some sort of like class action lawsuit. Maybe there's something that people are digging into how much Google's actually taking, because it is like their number one revenue driver. Same thing with Meta. So I'd be very curious how ad costs have changed in a high inflationary environment. And I'm curious if it was overinflated. compared to, or similarly to what we're seeing a little bit in grocery stores.
Because you're right. I mean, there are companies too. They have increased costs with people, with technology, with rent, with server space, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, like will their costs go up to the end user, to advertisers as well?
I mean, they've let a lot
As
of
somebody
people
that,
go. They've let a
yeah,
lot of people go. They did a lot of cost cutting, but usually with cost cutting, it's how can we also squeeze out more money for what we already have in place. So I'd be curious. I mean, it's a bold prediction. That's what you were looking for. Was it true?
I
No
want it
idea.
bold.
But here we are.
Yeah. But you know what? Inflation is going to hit everything eventually. So why wouldn't it hit things like that too? And I guess for somebody running their own ads, the only way you're really going to do that is track your progress over time and see how much you're spending, because they're not going to come out and tell you they're raising their ad costs, right? You're going to have to figure it out for yourself.
Like I say, it's a black box. You don't really know what their cut is of everything. So it's an interesting question.
Yeah. Nope. Two good ones. I'll finish with one, maybe two. I'll cut into what Iain was doing with two. The first one, I think there's going to be some people out there with bold predictions that like Elon is going to sell Twitter or X or whatever it's called. I don't think there's enough time for him to do something like that in the course of a year. I've never sold a $1 billion company before, but I don't think it's something you just do on a whim on a Tuesday. I do think, however, I could see him
You met
stepping
Elon?
away. No, I haven't. No, not yet. But after he sees this shirt, he's going to be banging at the door to get in here. So I can get him one too. I do think, though, that Elon could somehow step back from Twitter a little bit and maybe let other people take the reins, if you will. So I think that could be a prediction that's a little bit more realistic than he's going to sell the whole thing. The other one, too, I would say, if you think of social as stocks, I would be buying hard on YouTube Shorts right now, and I would be selling on Facebook. I would be selling on Instagram, and I would be selling on Threads. And TikTok for me would be a slow buy as well, but not as high as YouTube Shorts. I think YouTube Shorts are going to have a massive year next year. They've already built the whole thing. YouTube knows what it's doing when it delivers video content. And I think it's just a matter of time for people to see, hey, there's another option out here to get short video content. And I think YouTube Shorts is going to have an amazing 2024. Not to mention for guys like us who are in marketing, you don't need to create new content to go on YouTube Shorts. If you're already creating vertical videos elsewhere, it's just one more place to put them. And you probably already have a YouTube account too. So I'd be buying on YouTube Shorts and maybe not so much on the other channels for next year. And we'll be back here next year to see how wrong we were or how right, perhaps.